a black hole, that can suck you up, the opposite of what God basically put out there. And the lodge meetings include prayers and rituals on sacred texts, right? Who knows what those are, right? We've been seeing, showed examples of this, but we'll never see exactly what goes on inside of a Prince Hall Lodge, no matter how many people put out clickbait videos of this happening, right? So they conflict with some religions. Some organized religions, most notably the Roman Catholic Church, have been historically opposed to Freemasonry, viewing its principles as incompatible in their doctrine. Including Freemasonry in public schools in the curriculum could provoke strong opposition and violate religious freedom of students whose faiths condemn the practice, which means that they can't just, if y'all telling me this is God, then who's the grand architect? They can't just, it conflicts with a lot of other religions, because a lot of other religions, they point to a supreme being, an actual, person being you can look to. Freemasonry looks to an I, a grand architect of the universe, not an actual being. Fraternity is supposed to be a private and philanthropic organization, not an academic field of study. Yeah, so these are all basically excuses of why Freemasonry was never included into our textbooks in schools or none of that. But yet, our first president or everybody else is say that it's not a core subject, protection of privacy, that puts it out there right there. Symbolic and allergical lessons, but yet our first president, George Washington, was a founding member. He was a founding member of the Declaration of Independence, supposedly stopped slavery, and I'm gonna get more into that. This is crazy, y'all. It gets deep. So George Washington, he was a Freemason and president. You see everything about George Washington is Masonry.
Something else bothers me.
Listen to this clip
not
here.
long ago that Masonry discriminates against blacks.
That's not true.
Is no truth to that at all?
No, sir. I've sat in lodge with blacks.
I see. What type of lodges and places have you been to where there are blacks? I mean, how many places have you been in Mason? You've been in there a while. You've traveled around. You've been to Canada. You've been in the United States in many places. How many lodges do you know receive blacks?
I've been in one.
But all the rest of them don't.
The only one where I've sat in lodge with blacks was in Canada.
Not in the United States at all?
Never.
You don't think that's discrimination?
Well, they have black lodges within the United States.
So you have
it's all black brothers.
Oh, I see. So it's a segregated lodge system.
Yes. Those are clandestine lodge as far as Masonry is concerned.
Clandestine?
Yes, sir.
Could you explain what that means?
That if a Mason such as myself would be known to visit one of those lodges, I would be rejected from the fraternity.
So you would be punished.
That's correct.
If you went to a black lodge.
Right.
Would they be punished if they went to a white one?
It's never, to my knowledge, occurred where they've even tried to. I don't know what would happen if they approached the Tyler and to seek admittance.
In other words, hospitality is not a strong point here toward blacks.
I can't say no, because I've never experienced a situation where it's come up.
Well, it puzzles me that an organization which is known for so much social work and so much interest in the welfare of the community should discriminate so blatantly against blacks. How do you equate that? I know Masonry, and I'm not trying to knock or put down the good that Masons do. I mean, there are hospitals, there are eye clinics, there are, you can name the things that you're involved in. All good for the betterment of mankind.
And they have no regard for color, creed, or religious belief.
And they establish all these works, all
Right.
these good works.
The hospitals and this, it doesn't matter what color a person is, their religious belief, their concepts, or their economic level, they're still accepted.
But you won't have them in the lodge.
Well, as I say, I've never been in a situation where I've seen anyone, a black attempt to come into a lodge.
Except in Canada.
Except in Canada.
And they have clandestine lodges which are all black.
Correct.
So that is crazy, y'all, what y'all just heard. It is even segregated in Freemasonry. Really, into this day, but they all still, when it comes to business, they all get the business done. This is why you were hearing about Donald Trump and Diddy doing business together. You know, you hear black, even though I have a special presentation on Donald Trump coming up about his history in blacks, right? So as you heard there, blacks weren't allowed in white lodges, right? Because it goes back farther than that, though. Blacks weren't allowed in white lodges, and whites didn't know if they were allowed in black lodges because they never tried to go. But the British, but Canada